How would I compare a Cape parrot and a Pionus parrot? Let's look at three things that stand out the most to me in this video. Hey guys, welcome to Parrot Bliss. I love parrots. Parrots are my bliss. I have over 20 species of parrots. If you want to get inspired, learn about parrots, and learn about creating a more blissful bond, I'm here to share my experience and try to share my bliss with you. If you're used to hanging out, thank you. I love you for being here. Consider being a member. Even better. Let's get started. So the three things that stand out to me the most. Number one, first thing that popped up in my mind. Macy, who is a female, because this species is sexually dimorphic, so you could see by her head, since she's no longer a young parrot, you can see that she's female by the color of her head. She's more keen than Ale, my white-crowned Pionus. Hi, Ale. Ale is much more, I would say, sweet. So by keen, I kind of mean sharp, mentally sharp. She gets into a mode, and she's like, kind of like Ale right now. How do I explain it to you? No, don't go to Ale. No. Come here. What are you doing? A little stubborn, more intelligent. I feel like Capes are pretty darn smart. And I'm not saying that Ale's not smart. I'm just saying that I think he has a hard time keeping up, or he would have a hard time keeping up with Macy. Ale is definitely sweeter. Now, Cape parrots, I don't find them to be aggressive. I don't feel like they mess with my other birds, although she messed a little with Ale. I think most of that's jealousy. Ale also doesn't mess with other parrots, but he's kind of defenseless. I mean, like, if a bird comes up to Macy, she just kind of ignores them because she's like, it's almost like I have a Glock in my pocket and I know how to use it. So until you are really causing me problems and I have to pull out my big guns, her beak, I'm not worried. Whereas I worry about this guy because he's so sweet and I don't want to say defenseless, but there's no Glock here. He's a little defenseless. They're both pretty darn quiet, which is nice. I would say the next thing that really stands out that I want to talk about is their diet, because Macy's a nut eater. So Ale is more of a quote-unquote normal diet, pellets, fresh vegetables. Of course, Macy disappears. And Macy is fresh vegetables, pellets, but she's also nuts. Those nuts are an important part of her well-being. What are you doing back there? Pionus parrots, they are sometimes described as sort of being quiet, and therefore it's easy for their owners to kind of miss them or not notice them, or maybe that's why they aren't chosen as pets, because they're kind of quiet. When you go to a pet store, the loudest birds might get your attention, but at home, that's sort of the least attractive thing, right? My Amazons are sort of the most obnoxious because sometimes they're like, rah, rah, rah. It's crazy. Both of these species are relatively quiet, which is really, really nice. The Cape parrots can make some noise. My husband describes the Pionus's noise almost like a songbird. The Capes can make this high-pitched sound, but basically these two birds are almost not parrots when it comes to their noise, which is really, really nice. But because Pionus parrots, they don't, you could say that they kind of aren't as engaged. They aren't, I want to say like focused. That's why people kind of like, I think people don't get as into them. I do feel like Macy's more focused. For example, one of my other capes, if he's out of his cage, he'll kind of follow us around the house like a puppy dog, but then he'll like land on our head like, I don't know, kind of like he's the boss. And we're like, no, you're not, dude. Just because you have a big beak doesn't mean you're in charge. So the capes are a little more serious, a little more animated, more full of vinegar. No, I mean, you know, but they do have a more pronounced personality. I think that's a good way of putting it. Right, Ale? Right, sweetie. See what I mean? He's awesome. I love him. They're different. If I only could have one, I'd probably go with the cape. I'm just in love with capes. But it would be a hard decision because Ale is pretty awesome. I really like him. Hi, sweetie. He's very different. To me, he's a very unique species. So if you have had a Pionus parrot and you haven't had other parrots, I kind of feel like you don't really know what other parrots are like because other parrots are different. I don't feel like they're quite as easygoing. And that's positive and negative because it's kind of like, what do you want? What do you want? They also have, in some ways, stronger personalities. What you doing? What you doing? Are you telling me you're hungry? Do you want a treat? Or do you want pets? Do you want pets? And he does do this crazy thing. What? What? He doesn't hurt me, but what? What is it? What is it? But they're both phenomenal species. Macy is very, well, you can kind of see how she is. She always wants to be with me. She doesn't have to be on me, but she wants to be around me. She loves to get pets. You want some pets? The minute I give her my hand, she puts her beak down for pets. Ale, I don't feel likes pets as much. I don't know if that's just him or the species. My male cape doesn't like pets. The females like them more. You know, both just phenomenal species and both species that are hard to find. So, if you're looking for one of them, I can't even say one is more of a lifestyle choice than the other. I think they're similar, just more animated over here, a bigger gun in that beak. What else, Mace? What else? How do I describe how you're different, huh? How do I say it, Macy? Different continents, of course, that they come from. This one is tropical. This one's neotropical, which means African continent, Latin American continent. Right. Yeah. Cape parrots can learn to talk. Macy, do you say anything? Our male says a couple of things. And it's really funny because I call Macy. I go, Macy. So he goes, Macy. So he mimics me. Whereas I think Pionus parrots can learn to talk some too, but I think their voice is a little more parrot-like. Hey, what was that? What was that? And the, you know, the Pionus voice, or sorry, the Cape voice is a little more true, so to speak. All right, well, I hope that gives you a good idea on comparing these two species. I don't think you can go wrong with either of these two species. They're phenomenal. We'll catch you in the next feather video. Make sure to like and subscribe below.